You don't pause, you don't leave hanging. Hey, what's going on, solopreneurs? Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that new setters make when they are knocking doors and setting up appointments. And I've actually seen experienced people make this too. So maybe you're making it as well. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Welcome to the podcast. My name's Taylor Armstrong. We're here to help you close more deals, generate more leads and referrals, and hopefully have a much better time in the solar industry. Hope you're closing lots of deals. Hope you are shaking the rust off whenever you're listening to this. We are recording this in January. Winter months, still gets dark early, and I've noticed that sometimes it's hard for guys to shake that Christmas rust off. So whatever you're doing, hope you can start to push harder and get into our rhythm. Okay, and before we get into the content of this episode, wanted to make two invitations. Number one, if you haven't gotten your ticket to SolarCon already, what are you waiting for? Go click the link below in the show notes. We have the exclusive Solarpreneur discount that you can still take advantage of. It goes down by the week, so make sure you grab your ticket now to get the biggest discount. And we're going to be rolling out some exclusive Solarpreneur bonuses for anyone that takes advantage of that. Number two, if you have not left us a review and you've been a listener of the podcast for more than a few episodes, please go leave us a review on iTunes. Been a minute, would love to feature some reviews and love to give some people a shout out. So please go leave us a review if you haven't already. So let's get into the content, and that is a big mistake that I see new setters make. And I was reminded of this actually as I was reading this new book by Sam Taggart. It's called Eat What You Kill. Picked me up a copy of this at Door to Door Con recently. And he actually has a chapter on this mistake. It's called The Transition. Okay, and so I'm going to read a few paragraphs of his explanation of it in the book. And we'll see. You might be making this mistake yourself, so we'll see. Okay, so transition, he's referring to when you are at the door, or you could also be on the phone, but when you are doing your presentation, your initial presentation, right? And he has his steps. You can go pick up the copy of the book if you want to go through all of them. But the first one is the intro. Second is the what. Third is the why. Fourth step is the pullback. And then step number 5 is the transition. And this is where I see so many people make mistakes. And Sam goes over this in his book. Okay, so just to intro this a little bit, he says the transition is how you shift from your initial pitch into the next phase of your sell, whatever that requires. It might mean getting inside the prospect's home or office to present the details of your program, or it might mean doing a demo of features and benefits, or it might mean scheduling an appointment on the phone for an in-person presentation. Wherever needs to happen after that opening pitch will require a transition. The challenge is that you don't want the prospect to feel like you just made a sharp left turn from the friendly chat you've been having so far. You want it to feel smooth and natural, not threatening or anxiety provoking. The most common mistake at the transition is pausing at the worst possible moment. You might have done a great job with the pitch elements we've been talking about, the hook, the introduction, the why, the bandwagoning, and so on. You might have established rapport, trust, and curiosity, but if you pause at the transition as if seeking permission to keep going, all that progress can go off the rails. So there's just a few paragraphs, and this is something that I discovered pretty quickly that this was a mistake that I personally was making. But then I've seen so many new setters over the year make this mistake. Okay, in case you didn't catch that, Sam says the most common mistake at the transition is pausing at the worst possible moment. So what I see over and over again, guys will go through their presentation. They'll nail a great pitch presentation at the door. And then right as they need to go into that crucial moment of actually booking the appointment, they'll just pause. They'll leave it right there. And when I started, I would do this myself. I felt like I had the pitch memorized perfectly. I was engaging people at the doors. It seemed like they were interested, but then I would just leave them hanging and they'd say, sounds good, not interested, or leave me a card, or I'll look into this. You can reach back out to us in the future. Hit all these different types of responses, but no one would ever just be like, okay, how do I sign up for it? Or at least very rarely, maybe 1 out of 100. And so that's when I realized I needed to not pause. I needed to nail the transition, and I need to go directly into the next steps. So hopefully, if you're making this mistake, you can correct it. I had to go through a long time before I got it corrected. But what I want to do, I'm going to play for you some examples of maybe some not so solid transitions. I'll do 2 examples here, play for you. And if you're watching on the video version, we'll try to include these video clips in there. So you can go look us up on YouTube if you want to get a little more interactive information. But this first one, this is from a live solar appointment setting role play from Andy Elliott. Gotta love Andy Elliott. Guy's got energy. And so he brings someone up to the room. He has them go through their presentation. And so let's first hear how this guy does doing his presentation and see if you can recognize anything.
Here we go. How you doing, guys? I'm Henry, just working with some of your neighbors. I'm going to let you know what we're doing in the neighborhood today. Essentially, so some of the neighbors called us out here. Their floor power bills have been going up a lot. They've gone from like 13 cents to 17 cents from last summer. So how I'm helping them is if they do qualify, we're going to take that electric bill from up here that keeps going up. We're going to lock them in a lower fixed rate bill. 5-10 years down the line, they're going to be paying less than they did today. Essentially, it's kind of hard to qualify. So I'm going to get going in a second, but we're going to be dropping off reports later in the week and just seeing if this works out for your own. Okay, I'm going to ask him one question. You sound a little nervous up here. Hold on, Bosh. Cool, but can I ask you a question? Right?
Okay, so it's a pretty quick little presentation, and the guy is obviously nervous up there. Shout out to whoever this guy is. I mean, he's in front of a room full of people at one of Andy Elliott's seminars there. But you notice at the end, and it's tough to say because he kind of gets cut off by Andy Elliott, so maybe he wasn't going to pause right there. But from what it sounds like, he ends his presentation right there. Okay, you can hear what he says.
So I'm going to get going in a second, but we're going to be dropping off reports later in the week and just seeing if this works out for your own. Okay, I'm going to ask him one.
So it appears to me that that's where he ends his presentation, is we're going to be dropping the reports off, and we'll come back later in the week. Hey, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that from newer appointment setters, and even sometimes experienced reps, is where they end with something like that. It's a decent presentation, and that's it. So what this guy should have done, and again, maybe he would have gone a little bit more. He sort of got cut off, but he should have gone into a qualifying question, right? So we'll come back when it's ready. Afternoons, evenings work. Do you guys pay? Do you pay over 200 or less than 200? Some type of qualifying question, some type of question that takes you to the next step, that transitions, right? So for me, a lot of times I like to just go into figuring out a time that will work for him. It seems to work pretty well for me. And matter of fact, I will play one of my presentations here next. But whatever you're going to do, just make sure you do not pause. Make sure you don't leave him hanging right there. And I love what Sam says in the next, if you have his book, go pick up a copy. But in the next couple paragraphs, he says, if in the real world, your prospect has no interest in validating you. Instead, they're still evaluating you. So if you pause for their approval, you might as well be wearing a sign that reads, I lack self-confidence. And then the prospect will subconsciously start to lose confidence in you. Your positive momentum can vanish in just a few seconds. So, super well said. How many people just lack the confidence and they pause right there, expecting that they might get some approval, whatever, that they get shut down. So that's the lesson. Hey, so I'm going to play for you a little clip of what seemed to work pretty well for me. I know there's lots of people killing it out there. There's lots of great examples you can find. But this is just something that I read in the book and just reminded me so many people do this the wrong way. So many people struggle. So if I can find, let's see. Okay, so here's a little clip of one of my presentations.
Like I work in a space adjacent to the utilities space.
All right.
I'm curious, like, if you have, is there like a flyer or something I can look up more information to read about what the program is?
Yeah. So we'll leave you this. This is a card. And then, like I said, we'll come back. They'll have the whole custom brochure and everything with all the details. Because right now, every home is custom just because they're using different amounts of power.
Right.
But when we come back, they have like a full savings report and everything that shows differences and all that. But yeah, this is what I'll leave with you today. And it just explains a little bit about what they're preparing, what we'll have for you the next time. And then, yeah, we'll come back when obviously you're not in the middle of work and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, when we're on the next time. So I'll leave a copy with you. Do you know if you're going to be here tomorrow, like weekends?
Yeah, I mean, my husband and I both work out of the home, so we're here during the week a lot. The weekends, we're in and out, so I don't know.
Okay, that's nice. You guys just got to work together all the time, huh? You don't get sick of them?
No.
Okay. My wife, she kicks me out because she...
My mom works from home too, and she's by the time Saturday rolls around, she's like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, well, that's good. Okay, well, yeah, we'll figure out time that both of you are here. They just have me fill this out, leave you guys the copy, just because they're going to prepare the info and make sure it's accurate for the home.
Okay.
So I'll fill it out, leave you a copy, and then we'll figure out when both of you guys have a minute. Okay. Would that be okay if I borrowed corner of the table just to write on with you super quick?
Why don't I bring the pen out?
Okay. I do have a pen here, but okay. There.
Sorry, we can use this table if you
Yeah,
want.
does that work? Okay, so boom, there you heard it. Made some mental error. I think I repeated myself a few times, so wasn't the world's most perfect thing, but you get the idea, right? You don't pause, you don't leave hanging. You go into, hey, what time are you guys usually here? Afternoons, evenings? You guys are on the weekend, right? And then go straight into getting the information you need, which in my case, I carry around the appointment card. I fill it out with the homeowner, pen and paper. It gives me a good reason to borrow a table, sit down with them, and just makes it way smoother. So I hope that gave you some ideas. If you're a manager listening to this, train your reps on this, right? How many newer reps are pausing in the transition, just leaving things hanging? If you are a newer rep, or maybe you're an experienced rep, maybe you see yourself doing this, record yourself. If you're not recording yourself, you might not have any idea the pauses you're making or what you're saying. Okay. Even me listening back to my presentation just barely, I'm like, well, I repeated myself a couple times. I could have done this better. Like, I see things about my own presentation that I can improve all the time. So record yourself, look for those pauses, look to have better transitions. That will help you so much in your appointment setting ability and even your closing in every aspect if you master the transition. Hope that helps. Can't wait to bring some more content to you. Remember, go grab your SolarCon tickets. Go leave us a review if you have not already, and we'll see you on the next episode.